Welcome to Practicing Precision, the podcast where each week we unpack one big idea about how to grow and run a smarter business without the noise, without the fluff, where clarity beats complexity every time. Welcome to Practicing Precision, where clarity beats complexity every time.
I'm Jeannie Lutz, joined as always by Ross Yellen, and we are co-founders of Precision Practices.
Every week, we unpack one big idea about how to grow and run a smarter business without the noise, without the fluff, and absolutely without an 80-slide presentation.
15 minutes or less, always actionable, always obvious, always concise.
It's time to make things make sense. This is Practicing Precision. So, Jeannie, what are we talking about today?
So today we're talking about speed. Speed is a strategy, and we're going to specifically focus on after a potential new client or customer picks up the phone or in any way contacts you, how important is speed? And what is a reasonable time to respond? And what happens if you don't respond within that time frame?
Perfect. I mean, I think, picking up from last week, obviously, picking up where we left off, speed is just so critical, right? There are so many studies that have gone into this, and it hits from every sector of business. Every single sector of business, every business owner should care about this and care deeply about this. And that's how quickly does their business respond to their customers or potential customers?
Yeah, one of the things, probably most of us, when we were employees, we got an employee manual. And part of that employee manual said something along the lines of, you must respond to all clients and potential customers within the day. Before you go home, before you clock out at night, you must have made contact with them. That was the general rule. Well, let's just say that general rule, if you apply that as your lens of success, most people would wait till the end of the day to make those calls. And the reality is, chances are you've lost that new business.
Absolutely. There are so many facts out there on this very point, and I've done my best to kind of bring a lot of them to our conversation today. So I might sound a little encyclopedic today, but I think they really just hammer home the point, right? The one that just stands out so glaringly to me, relevant to the point that you just made, is that if a lead is contacted within 5 minutes, they are, and brace yourself for this one, 100 times more likely to be reached than if they're contacted after 30 minutes. That is a minuscule window in your day. I mean, if you think about it, you and I have 30-minute meetings all day long, hour meetings all day long. So a 5-minute window when we're in a 30-minute, 1-hour meeting, I mean, it's nearly impossible to meet. So you've got to build opportunity to do that.
And what we're saying here is that potential new customer needs to be contacted. That is all part of the buyer's experience, and that immediacy of response provides a level of confidence building and trust building that is unmatched with anything else. But it doesn't have to necessarily be a phone call. It just simply needs to be an absolute response within a very narrow window. And there's many ways to do that because we are all very busy during the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just going to double down on that. It is about getting a response. It is about getting a contact point. It is about getting, this is the next step. Even if that response is an immediate email that says, we're so sorry we've missed your call. Here's our contact information. You will hear from us in the next 45 minutes. But you've hit that mark already, creating the expectation. Now you've got to follow up within that time frame. Absolutely. If you don't, forget about them. They may as well have never called in the first place. but giving them that contact point, creating those clear expectations, that social contract, if you will, of here's what happens next, and you specifically matter most to us. We are going to get in touch with you. I think that is just such a critical point. When people hear these timeframes and they go, 5 minutes, it's impossible. It's not impossible. It is absolutely doable.
And on the opposite side of the equation, so that 5-minute window is mission critical. However, if you wait till 30 minutes, you're like, oh, 30 minutes is good. Guaranteed, the possibility of a meaningful engagement or discussion in that after 30 minutes has just fallen off a cliff. You might as well never call them back.
Right. I mean, I'll say it again because it bears repeating. A lead that is contacted within 5 minutes is 100 times more likely to be reached than someone contacted after 30 minutes. And I guarantee every single person listening to this episode can think of a time when, gee, this person just filled out a form, or this person just called, and I've called them back, I've emailed them, and I'm not hearing back from them. Did you contact them within 5 minutes? Probably not.
Yeah, speed is one of the few competitive advantages that you don't actually have to pay for. It doesn't require better marketing. It doesn't require better people. It just requires better organization from the onset. It requires a repeatable process regardless of any other activity. And it's super easy to implement.
It's super easy to implement. And to your point, you're absolutely right. You don't have to change your team. You just might have to do some training of that team. You might need, a better platform, for example, if if there's no way for you to track that time and for you to track when phone calls come in, then yes, you might need another platform or so, but we're not talking, major money here. We're talking simple platforms that should frankly already be in place. And then it's just a little bit of training. But the difference, to stand out from the crowd, it's so easy. Slow response is the norm, not the exception. You want to be the exception. It's, the average business is going to take, do you know how long it is? Do you know how long it's going to take for an average business to get back to someone? 42 hours.
22 hours. Wow.
42 hours is the norm, with less than 40% of companies responding within an hour. And get this, 23% never respond at all.
That is pretty critical. And once again, that is against a broad spectrum of businesses of all sizes. But this absolutely applies to the professional services domain, categorically. Law firms, dentists, doctors, accountants, financial planners, physical therapists. This is a practical reality.
And actually, specific to the professional services industry, that was the biggest dissonance between what the practitioners thought was happening and what was actually happening. Most of the vast majority of the practitioners said that they respond quickly, but the data actually said, no, you fit in that statistical norm of taking more than 42 hours and 23% never responding.
Buyers never say they took too long to respond. They never say that. The fact that somebody responds quickly, once again, is just a real confidence boost that they've chosen the right firm or organization to call in the first instance.
Absolutely. I mean, because why would a buyer never say that? It's because it really is, we're talking statistics and we're making it, a bit mathematical, maybe scientific is the right term, but it's actually an emotional response. It's it's met with a, gee, did they not care about me because they didn't call me back? Are they too busy to take me on as a client, as a customer? So it actually, while we're making it cold, scientific, mathematical, It's actually that we didn't give them, it's cold. We didn't give them the warm and fuzzy. And that's what someone who gets a response within 5 minutes gets. And that's why, they're going to engage with you at a significantly higher percentage than otherwise.
As always, we've given you a lot of information here, but not specific to your business. If you would like to learn a little bit more about how you can make improvements about your specific situation, give us a call, fill out a form. We're happy to have that dialogue with you. And once again, let's see how we do. See if we'll respond within the 5-minute window.
Put us to the test. Absolutely. All right. We will see you next week. This has been Practicing Precision.